Hello, welcome to this update. Today is kind of a crazy day. We have many areas to watch for the severe weather. One marginal risk in southern Arizona, one slight in parts of northern Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, and New Mexico. Another slight risk in Nebraska, another one in Missouri and Kentucky, southern Illinois, and an enhanced risk in parts of New York and Vermont, and a slight risk from West Virginia to southern Maine, and this big marginal risk from Colorado to southern Maine. So a big area today. We already have some severe thunderstorm watches and some mesoscale discussions here. So they talk about some damaging straight line winds possible. And let's see. There's another one. They say some damaging wind threat could persist into this afternoon there in Missouri, Illinois, and those areas. But this get updated all the time there. So we will have new ones later. But we also got a new severe thunderstorm watch there in New York and Vermont. And let's see the outlook here. So the tornado threat is 2% in New York and Vermont and 2% in Nebraska. The wind threat is 15% in all those three slight risks, and also 30% in the enhanced risk there in New York and Vermont, and the 15% and the big 5%. Also in Arizona, the 5% there. Hail is just two areas of 15% in the plains and 15% in New York, and these two areas of 5% for hail. So let's see. Strong severe thunderstorms are possible in central plains and to the northeast. Greatest severe thunderstorm threats within that are over parts of central plains, upper Ohio Valley, and parts of northern, mid-Atlantic, and western New England. So please be careful today with these storms there. And let's see for tomorrow. We still have a slight risk tomorrow from parts of Virginia all the way up into New Hampshire, and this marginal from North Carolina to Maine. And also another marginal in the high plains from New Mexico to Wyoming. So let's see. Tornado threat is less than 2%, but always be aware. Wind threat is 15 and 5% in all the areas. And hail is just a small 5% from New Mexico to Wyoming. So let's see. Isolated strong to severe thunderstorms are possible from the Carolinas to New England on Wednesday. A corridor of greater coverage for the northeast, from northeast Virginia into Hudson Valley and the adjacent southern Vermont to western Massachusetts. Isolated strong to severe thunderstorms are possible in parts of the central high plains as well. So be aware for tomorrow, for after tomorrow, day 3, there's just a big general risk of thunderstorms and a small marginal risk in parts of northeastern Colorado, eastern Wyoming, Nebraska, and South Dakota. So 5% probabilistic. So let's see. Isolated strong to severe thunderstorms are possible Thursday afternoon from northeast Colorado to far eastern Wyoming and adjacent and western South Dakota and Nebraska Panhandle. So be aware. Let's see, day 4 through 8 we have nothing. And in terms of fire danger, we just have isolated dry thunderstorms possible in the west for today. And for tomorrow, 2 areas, one in Washington and Oregon, and another part of the Rockies and desert from Colorado, Utah, and Idaho. So be aware. And let's see the map for today. Like the greens, like rain, thunderstorms possible, and severe thunderstorms in the yellow, and some flash flood, heavy rain in the red. For tomorrow, and for after tomorrow. So excessive rainfall is a slight risk today from Colorado to West Virginia, so be aware of some flash flooding possible, and a marginal risk from Arizona to northern Maine, a big area. So let's see for tomorrow. A slight risk in Arkansas, southeastern Missouri and Tennessee, and northeastern Texas, and southeastern Oklahoma, and central northern New Mexico and southern Colorado, and a marginal from Utah to Maine. So be aware. For day 3, a small slight in New Mexico and southern Colorado, and a marginal in the southwest, another slight in Carolina and Virginia, and a marginal from Louisiana to Virginia and southern Delaware, I think. Day 4, another slight in North Carolina and South Carolina, and a marginal from Texas to southernmost Virginia. And there's a marginal in the southwest and parts of the plains. Day 5, still a marginal in the southwest and parts of the plains, and a marginal in the southeast, like from Texas to North Carolina. So let's see. Precipitation for today, more in Missouri and Arkansas there, going into the northeast, so be aware of some flash flooding. Let's see, in the plains more today, some in the southeast. For tomorrow, shows more in the mid-south, southwest, and east coast. For Friday, it shows more in the south, more in parts of the east coast, and some isolated on the west. For day 4, Saturday, more in the west and the plains, and the east and southeast. Day 5, more scattered along the south there. Day 6, more in Texas, the southwest, Florida, the Bahamas, the southeast too. And day 7, a little bit more further north and more in the south and east and southwest. Days 1 through 7, you can see a few hot spots in the east coast, in southern Florida, and more in New Mexico and Mexico there, and parts of Arkansas and Louisiana, some other areas. So let's see, this nothing, and let's see. So we could see some warnings. We have some excessive heat watches in parts of Idaho and Oregon, some red flag warnings, even a heat warning in Washington, some heat advisories, and special weather statements and stuff. In Hawaii, some small craft and high surf advisories, some flood watches in southern Alaska, flood watches and flash flood warnings in Missouri and southern Illinois, going all the way to Ohio, the flood watches, New Mexico to some, heat advisories in the mid-south and plains, and heat warnings there, more heat warnings on the east, and heat advisories in many areas. So these warnings change all the time, so you can always check here if you want. And for the current warnings in Canada, we have some heat warnings still in Alberta. So let's see, they say daily highs between 28 and 36 degrees and overnight lows from 12 to 20. More heat warnings to the south. We have this severe thunderstorm watch. On this form for dangerous thunderstorms can produce gusty winds, heavy rain, large hail, and thunderstorms develop this afternoon within the potential of becoming severe and ending this evening. Intense lightning, yeah, so be aware. And we will show you the storm forecast for Canada in a second. We have in another page there. So some heat warnings for parts of British Columbia, fog advisory, but these last very short, like they only last through the morning. Let's see, more heat warnings in British Columbia. Let's see here. Further north into Northwestern Territories, I think this is heat warning. Yeah, mainly some air quality alerts for wildfires and heat warnings in these areas here. So let's see, yeah, they say daytime highs between 28 and 35 degrees possible. They have a small warning in Nunavut for heat and air quality, yeah. Let's see, in the east, I have a big area of severe thunderstorm watch. This afternoon and evening, conditions for developing severe thunderstorms can produce strong winds, large hail, and heavy rain. So we'll show the forecast in a minute too. Another severe thunderstorm watch more south there, in Quebec and Ontario. Another, yeah, that's the same one. Some rainfall warnings in parts of southern Ontario. Let's see, rainfall warning too. And in the east here, we have some heat warnings and a severe thunderstorm watch, parts of New Brunswick. So Conditions for the severe thunderstorms and strong thunderstorms, capable of strong winds, large hail and heavy rain. But this is mainly strong winds and heavy rain, not much hail. So thunderstorms expect this afternoon and evening. And they should become more organized. Some potential is there for severe winds and heavy rain. Some heat warnings between 28 and 31 degrees Celsius possible, and more heat warnings in New Brunswick. So let's see, these warnings change all the time too. So you can always check here if you want. So let's see the thunderstorm forecast. So this for today, they have some severe possible in Quebec, Ontario, more south into southern Ontario and other areas in parts of Quebec, and going all the way east there into New Brunswick, more severe potential, and into eastern Quebec. And a general risk of thunderstorms in the yellow from all across Ontario and many areas of Quebec, except the north, going to parts of Labrador there and going east into Atlantic Canada. So be aware, some thunderstorms and the severe ones. And this is like Tuesday at 1 p.m. So this is a possible estimation of this afternoon. We have, these storms are probably ongoing already by this morning, and they will keep moving northeast there towards Quebec and those other areas. So it shows some pretty strong storms this afternoon going through those areas. So please be careful. And then by this evening or tonight, especially like 10 p.m. tonight, it shows some more storms possible forming in between the Great Lakes there, maybe moving east. So be aware tonight too. And then this for Wednesday, for tomorrow, they have some severe possible in parts of Ontario, Quebec, and New Brunswick again. And then the general risk of thunderstorms to parts of Quebec, going to Labrador and Ontario. So be aware for tomorrow. And this for the west here, for Tuesday, for today. Some severe potential in south central Alberta still, and even northeastern Alberta there, parts of Saskatchewan too. So be aware, some strong severe thunderstorms possible. And the yellow is just like general risk of thunderstorms. So be aware, some heavy rain, large hail, and strong winds possible. And then this is a possible estimation of the radar this afternoon. So this by 3 p.m. it shows that storms forming off the foothills there and moving kind of east and dissipating by this evening. Some other storms there too. So, and this is the thunderstorm energy here, like the Cape and the Helicity. So it shows lots of energy in parts of Alberta for these storms. So be aware. And then later, more like after the storms pass, by Friday, Saturday, and beyond, it shows this high pressure will come north again, bringing another heat wave there in southwestern Canada and even some other areas. And this high pressure will go like really far north, so some dangerous heat coming back, and so stronger in the U.S. there too. So let's see here some estimated temperatures. So this is for Friday. They have in the 30s temperatures in parts of Alberta and British Columbia, but this is for Alberta, I think. 34 degrees, 36, 35, 37. So be aware of the heat coming. And let's see for the US some temperatures. So for today, some 100s in the plains, 90s there, some 100s in the southwest and in the west. For day 2 here, it shows more 100s in the south, some 100s in the west, even Texas too and New Mexico, some 90s in other areas. For day 3 here, so day 3 is Friday, and in Thursday, so the day 3 is Thursday, I think, because today is Tuesday. Okay, so for Thursday, some 100s in the west, still, in parts of Washington, California, Arizona, some 100s, some 70s the Midwest, some 90s in other areas. For day 4 here, we have some 100s there in the southwest still, some 90s in Florida and Georgia, and some 90s in the plains and northwest. For day 5 here, we have some 100s in the southwest, still many 100s all the way into Oregon, 90s in Montana, in Texas, in Florida, and Georgia, more 90s. And even some other areas, some high 80s. Let's see, day 6 here, we have some 100s in the west, much throughout the west, some 90s in the south and other areas, even to Tennessee and other areas. So, wait, day 7 here, so for Monday, we have still 100s in the west, especially the southwest, and let's see, some 90s in the south still, and more areas. So let's see the 24-hour max wind gust. So this is valid until tomorrow at 1 p.m. So shows a little bit windy in parts of the Rockies, but not much. Parts of the coast near California, in California too, in the northeast because of the storms, of course, and the storms themselves can have winds much higher than that. And let's see. The model here for the storms. First, let's see in the northeastern US, we have the complex going on in Canada already, and we already have some tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings there. They are just received now. So let's see. This complex continues there into New York, shows some very strong storms, possibly some very big damaging winds within that line. Can have some really damaging winds going through parts of New York State into Vermont there. So this by 23Z already, they are in Vermont and Massachusetts, affecting New Hampshire and then dissipating by later tonight. So let's see, but the main threat in Ontario is like now. They are stronger there now. And let's see, but there might be more later in Quebec and going north there, affecting some other areas too. And then let's see. It shows those other storms in parts of Ontario by this evening and tonight. So let's see. For the plains here, south central, so we have those storms now in Missouri and Illinois. Those mainly are producing some heavy rain, but some can be severe too. Uh, that blob kind of dissipates, but we are left with some stronger storms this afternoon, even some severe ones with some damaging winds in Arkansas, Missouri, and other areas, and more storms forming in southern Indiana this evening and afternoon. Yeah, some stronger storms in those areas, especially it shows like by tonight there are still some storms going on in Arkansas. And further west here in the plains shows some showers firing there in parts of Colorado and New Mexico, going towards Oklahoma and Texas there, and then they the HERS showing them become stronger by tonight. In Oklahoma, some heavier rain there and stronger storms, but be aware in northern Texas, western Oklahoma, parts of southwestern Kansas. So let's see for the whole area here, if we can see more. So those storms there show some afternoon storms in Florida. We even have had some power outages yesterday, and shows some showers in the Carolinas, maybe a storm or two. And then it shows the storms in Indiana going to Kentucky and Ohio by tonight. So be aware. In the west, some monsoon showers, but nothing big, just that marginal in Arizona, could affect Mexico too, and some showers in Oregon. So let's see. What else we have here? Some models maybe. Let's see the past run here. So, wait, I'm trying. So let's see the significant tornado parameter, if we have something. So let's see, it's very low today. You all saw that's just a 2%, but let's see. Yeah, it's very low. Maybe some spots in the central US and this afternoon in the northeast and parts of Canada, but not much. Shows some more parts of Missouri and Arkansas, but not really anything very concerning. Let's see. Yeah, there. But what's better to see here is the updraft helicity here. So let's see. So this is basically probabilities for rotating updrafts and powerful thunderstorms. So by the end of the run, like the full run, they have some in parts of northern Texas, some light ones in New Mexico and other areas, and some more signals in Nebraska too for stronger storms. In the northeast, of course, they have some stronger signals there, and some lighter signals in other areas. So let's see. Mixed layer Cape. So let's see this afternoon around 21Z. Shows more Cape in Missouri there, and Arkansas, Oklahoma, and those other areas. Not much Cape in the northeast, but some areas of instability. Let's see a little bit earlier. Kind of the same thing. A little bit earlier. Yeah. Let's see. A little bit later. Yes, generally that. So, something else? No, so stay safe, warn others, and bye.